What if I told you Gen Z is fighting inflation, anxiety, and capitalism? With a TikTok challenge? No, not another dance. This one's about spending $0 and feeling rich on vibes alone. Welcome to the No Buy Challenge, where your wallet finally takes a nap and your Amazon cart collects dust. Today we're diving into a viral movement where Gen Z said, nah, to consumerism and yes, to their sanity. Let's talk No Buy Challenge. The No Buy Challenge is exactly what it sounds like, not buying stuff. But it's not about living like a hermit. It's a personal commitment to stop spending money on non-essential things, usually for a set time. That could mean no new clothes for a month, no takeout for 30 days, or even a full year without impulse shopping. Yes, a whole year. It started on minimalist Reddit threads and frugal blogs, but now it's exploded on TikTok. Hashtags like #NoBuyChallenge and #FrugalLiving have racked up millions of views, and thousands of people are trying it, sharing their progress and, yes, their struggles. So why is this challenge catching fire now? Three reasons: inflation, burnout, and the realization that most of us are one impulse buy away from broke. Prices are up, student loans are back, and mental health is trending, in a real way. People are realizing that shopping isn't self-care, it's just expensive procrastination. Gen Z in particular is leading the movement, maybe because they've grown up in a world of recessions and climate anxiety. Instead of flexing luxury, they're flexing discipline and dopamine detoxing from the constant scroll of product ads and Amazon hauls. So basically, the No Buy Challenge is giving Gen Z the power to say, I'm not buying it, literally and metaphorically. Here's where it gets deep. Psychologists say we make around 35,000 decisions a day. A lot of those involve money. Should I order food, buy that skincare, subscribe to another streaming service? Decision fatigue is real, and so is the pressure to keep up. The No Buy Challenge removes temptation. Fewer decisions, fewer regrets. It also gives your brain a dopamine reset. See, shopping triggers the same reward centers in your brain as sugar, social media, or even gambling. But when you stop chasing the high, you start finding joy in free stuff: time, nature, friends, and memes. For some, it's not about money at all. It's about control. Control over your impulses, your habits, your priorities. Minimalism isn't just a lifestyle now. It's a flex. But here's the flip side. It's not easy. We're wired to want stuff. Plus, FOMO is real, especially when your feed is full of people showing off hauls and gadgets. The trick is to start small. Try a 7-day no-buy challenge. Just pick one category, like no new clothes or no delivery food, and stick to it for a week. Set a goal, write it down, maybe even tell your friends so you can't cheat. The first few days are tough. But by day 5, you'll realize you're actually fine, and maybe even kind of proud. So, could spending less actually make you feel richer? Well, let's flip that question. What does it even mean to be rich in 2025? Is it having 5 credit cards and a $4,000 couch you found on Instagram? Or is it being able to sleep at night knowing your bills are paid and your brain isn't overloaded by buy now, pay later regret? That's the real conversation happening behind the No Buy Challenge. Because this trend isn't just about money, it's about redefining value. And here's where things get even deeper. The cultural shift. Anti-consumerism with a side of Wi-Fi. Think about it. We live in a time where entire industries are built around making you feel like you're missing something. From fashion, to skincare, to tech. There's always something new to buy. And if you don't buy it, you're supposedly falling behind. But what happens when an entire generation hits pause? Gen Z isn't just cutting back on spending. They're questioning the system. They're asking, why is my identity tied to what I consume? Why does every self-care tip cost money? Why does every algorithm push me to shop? That's why the No Buy Challenge feels radical. Because it's not just about skipping a Starbucks run. It's quietly rebelling against hyper-consumer culture. A little history break. We've done this before. Believe it or not, this kind of minimalist movement isn't new. Back during World War II, people were encouraged to use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. It was a national effort to conserve resources. In the 1970s, voluntary simplicity became a thing among counterculture groups. People rejected materialism in favor of living closer to nature and within their means. Then, in 2008, during the global recession, the buy nothing message came back stronger than ever. Blogs popped up with titles like 365 Days Without Shopping. People got creative. Thrift stores became cool again. And now in 2025, we're seeing a digital version of that same resistance. But this time, it's on TikTok. The TikTok factor. Why it's so powerful. TikTok isn't just fueling this trend. It's driving it. There's something about seeing real people, in real time, resisting impulse purchases, organizing their stuff, cooking at home, or just talking about their spending habits. It makes you reflect. You watch someone clean out 30 bottles of skincare, and suddenly you're like, why do I own 6 of the same hoodie in slightly different shades of black? Turns out, when you're not stuck in a scroll shop scroll loop, your brain gets space to breathe. No more mental clutter. Just you, your thoughts, and maybe a little awkward silence. But we're okay with that. And speaking of clutter, let's talk about stuff. One side effect of the no-buy challenge? People start decluttering like crazy. Once you stop bringing new things in, you start noticing how much you already have. Clothes you haven't worn in a year. Books you never read but bought because the cover was cute. Random skincare samples that expired in 2022. The no-buy challenge opens your eyes. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Many creators pair this challenge with Project 333, where you pick 33 clothing items and wear only those for 3 months. It's like Marie Kondo, but with fewer sweaters and more self-respect. Here's the surprising part. Doing a no-buy challenge sparks actual conversations. Suddenly, your group chat goes from, hey, look what I just ordered, to, you guys want to try a no-spend weekend? Instead of retail therapy, people are doing swap parties with friends. No-spend game nights. Skill sharing, like learning to cut your own hair, bold but okay. You shift from consumer mode to creative mode. That's the glow-up no one saw coming. Let's be real. Capitalism is exhausting. And not exactly planet-friendly. The average person generates over 100 pounds of packaging waste per year, mostly from online shopping. So when thousands of people do a no-buy challenge, it adds up. Less demand for fast fashion? Fewer microplastics in the ocean? Fewer electronics purchased? Less e-waste piling up in landfills? You don't have to be a perfect minimalist to make an impact. Just saying no once is a start. Some people start the no-buy challenge for a month and end up sticking with it for a year or more. They come out the other side with less debt, a better credit score, way more savings, and often a totally new mindset. One Reddit user documented her 12-month no-buy and said she saved over $10,000 and realized she was buying things to fix feelings, not problems. Another person said they finally started their emergency fund after 10 years of trying because they stopped going just to browse at Target. Those stories are powerful, and they prove something big. If you've made it this far, you're probably wondering, how do I actually try this? Here's a starter plan. Pick a time frame, 7 days, 30 days, whatever feels realistic. Choose your no-buy categories, clothes, fast food, digital subscriptions, etc. Set a goal. Do you want to save money, declutter, or reset your habits? Track your progress. Use a notes app, a journal, or just post about it. Be kind to yourself. Slipping up isn't failure, it's feedback. Make it your own. There's no one-size-fits-all here. The best challenge is the one that fits your life and actually makes you feel better. At its core, the no-buy challenge isn't about money. It's about intention. It's asking, what do I want to bring into my life? And what am I doing just because the algorithm told me to? In a world constantly telling you to do more, buy more, and want more, the quiet act of doing less is revolutionary. And maybe, just maybe, the richest people in 2025 are the ones who figured out how to be content with what they already have. So, are you in? Let me know in the comments if you're trying a no-buy challenge or tag a friend to do it with you. Smash that like button, subscribe for more weird and wonderful knowledge bombs, and we'll see you next time on Next Up Knowledge, where we simplify the world, one fact at a time.